Lions TV, this is your post-match analysis video for yesterday's brilliant 1-0 win at the Den against Middlesbrough. A fantastic day, Dockers Day. The sun was out, 3 points were taken, and we still are in with a chance of making the playoffs. As always, let's kick off the show by taking a look at the 11 that Alex Neil picked to start the match. Okay, so no Josh Coburn available. That meant that he had to drop out. And in my preview, I said I felt the gaffer should have gone with a straight swap with Macaulay Langstaff. He didn't do that, but he learned from his mistakes, which I'll get onto in a minute, or he acknowledged it at least. Was it a mistake? Well, I believe it was, because in the second half, we was an absolute team transformed, a completely different animal in the second half. And I'm going to give you a few quick ratings as well. It was Jensen in goal, 8. Ryan Leonard, right back, 8. Cooper, 8. Kramer, 9.5. Joe Bryan, 9. Billy Mitchell, 10. Casper De North, 7. Idemo and Maku, 5. Luke Kundle, 5. George Honeyman, 6. And up front as a lone striker, Mihailo Ivanovic, 7.5. Very different from the Sheffield United game where the ratings are all through the roof. You've got some ratings there through the roof and even higher than the Sheffield United game, but also some not so good, and that was a real reflection of the first half. Of course, it was Dockers Day yesterday, and usually when we do that, of course, celebrating Dave Memmott on the day, along with some other brilliant ex-players. And when we do this usually as a club, we do it fantastically. We do this and the Armed Forces Day better than anyone. But we always fuck it up on the pitch. It's a massive anticlimax. And of course, as well, coming off the back of the Sheffield United result, we rarely follow it up at home with a really good win away, potentially in midweek, like we did. And then we don't follow it up at home, and we fuck up like we did for the John Berylson Day, which was outstanding. But unfortunately, we lost in the last minute to Bristol City, didn't we? The Matić Sarkic Day, I can't remember who played. Apologies for that. Let me know in the comments. But we fucked that up on the pitch as well. But brilliant off it, like I said. So yesterday was not a turning point for me, but it was our chance now to say, look, come on, we get to this stage and then we capitulate. Let's follow it through, and we did follow it through with 3 wins on the bounce now. And in my opinion, we're hurtling towards a plus. And the way we're playing, if we carry on playing like we have in the second half yesterday and at Sheffield United, I can't see us losing another game, especially now with Burnley 5 points clear of third place and with a plus 20 better goal difference than Sheffield United. They could have the title wrapped up, or a promotion at least, by the time we get to Turf Moor on the final day. And like I said in my full-time reaction yesterday, we've got Blackburn away next Friday, and then we got Norwich at home on Monday, and then the following Saturday, Swansea at home. All 3 of those clubs, nothing to play for. And until yesterday, Blackburn were falling like a stone. They got a result. Norwich are done for the season. Swansea started creeping up the league, having a strong finish to the end of the season. But I don't want to get above my station, but I feel there's a real possibility here. I buzz about it yesterday. I always say about this end of season on the beach feel, and I got home about 2 hours ago. I've been asleep, but I was up at way, and I just stayed up there last night. Went out for a drink, absolutely brilliant, and it's just a real feel-good factor. And could we finally be going to this next level? The strength in depth on the bench yesterday really impressed me, which of course played into the game and the final result massively, which we'll get onto. But the first half starts and Alex Neil doesn't go with the 2 up front. As I say, I feel that was a mistake, and I feel that he accepted that himself. And in the past, I love Neil Harris and I couldn't stand Gary Rowett, but both of them would, at times, I think, both be quite stubborn. They wouldn't make substitutions when we could all see they needed to be made, and wouldn't change players when they all needed to be changed, like we could all see. And they out of stubbornness, I think, potentially, stuck to their guns. Alex Neil doesn't do that. If something's not going right, he'll acknowledge it and he'll change it. He did that yesterday at half-time, which completely changed the game. Also, I'm going to say, I don't really like to go into it too much, but the weather yesterday, it was... the last game we played at the Den against Portsmouth was hot and it was sunny. Yesterday, it was absolutely boiling, hotter than that, but it wasn't sunny, it was like hazy. And I was sweating my tits off sitting in the stands. So God knows what the players must have felt like at pitch level. And if you look at half-time yesterday, across the board, there was hardly any goals in the division. And a few players looked like they had absolutely no energy at all. Idemo Maku didn't look like he had any energy. Casper De North, brilliant, and he can't get an 8.59 every week. But I felt Casper De North was terrible. He wasn't terrible. He just wasn't really in the game, in my opinion. And again, that was recognised by Alex Neil by bringing on George Saville and Honeyman. He looked done. I mean, brilliant last 2 games, Portsmouth, Sheffield United, but he looked done as well. He looked absolutely done. after about 20 minutes. So I don't know whether the heat played into it, but the first half wasn't fantastic. It was a game of few chances in the first half. We had one right at the start, didn't we? Free kick. It was well delivered by George Honeyman, and Kramer probably will feel that he should have done a little bit better. If anything, it was the only thing, I'll say the only foot he put wrong in the game, but it was a header, and it was over the bar. He may have felt he should have done better with that, a little bit of a free header, but he didn't. And then as it went on in the first half, we wasn't doing the things that we did at Sheffield United, and I did feel, like I said earlier, we never follow up on things. I did feel that was going to happen, and we wasn't going to get there. But again, kept thinking who's on the bench and shooting towards the cold blow in the second half. Like I always say, I think we could have our way yet. But the longer the first half went on, the more likely Middlesbrough looked, although they only had shots from distance and little bits and pieces, balls into good areas, and at times they wasn't great with their balls though, and they was conceding possession really easy at points, kicking the ball off the pitch, unchallenged with crossfield passes, etc. And it wasn't a great standard in the first half. It was a battle. It wasn't a brilliant tempo, but it was a good atmosphere regardless. Middlesbrough brought a brilliant following. So fair play to them, filled the whole top tier. And I know from personal experience, it's a fucking long old trip to go up and back in a day, especially I don't do that, I'm going 2 days. But last time it took me nearly 3 to get home, like in total. It was absolutely ridiculous. So half-time comes, and as I say, I looked at the bench and we had Nedgley on the bench and we had Aziz on the bench, and I'm thinking, all right, well, if we go for it in the second half, if he changed it. Now, if that was Rowett or Harris, I don't think they would have done. No, that's the team I picked. No, I know what I'm doing. You all shut up, whatever, and I'm going to crack on with the team that I picked. But he didn't do that, and he switched it, and he took Kundal off at half-time. It was absolutely horrendous, but I've learned from my mistakes over the years, and we're all guilty of it, okay? I'm not going to sit here and say, he's fucking... Well, I did say it yesterday. He's fucking terrible, Kundal. Why did we sign him? Get rid of him. I've seen it in the past. I'm going to use Duncan Watmore for an example. At times, look how brilliant Watmore's been for us, like the start of the season. But other times, equally, look how terrible he's been. And he's not a terrible player. Kundal isn't a terrible player. We've seen what he's capable of in his debut, but I don't know what's happened since that point. He's been in and out of the side, and he's obviously lost a bit of confidence somewhere along the line. So I'm not going to say he should get rid of him, but he wasn't fantastic, was he? And with a full pre-season with the squad going into next season, I'm sure he will improve. As I said, we've seen what he can do on his debut against QPR at home, and maybe, it was his own worst enemy because he peaked very, very early. But I'm sure he's not a bad player. That's what I'm going to say. Instead of saying he shit, get rid of him, I'm going to say that on Kundal. But he came off. Macaulay Langstaff came on, went up front with a 2, with Ivanovic. And in that instance, my mate said to me earlier on a text, Langstaff changed the game when he came on. And I thought we done really well when he came on. And I've said this previously, he seems to be back in favour under Alex Neil. He's going to find it tough to be first choice. And Coburn, of course, who we're looking to sign permanently in the summer and couldn't play yesterday against his parent club. But he did very well when he came on. He helped change the game, along with the formation change, which I feel was the biggest part of that. And then straight away, as soon as the second half starts, we start creating things. Ivanovic was winning flick-ons. Langstaff was getting in good areas, terrorising defenders, pressing them, forcing them back. We could have had 3 penalties in the first 5 minutes of the second half. I've watched them back this morning, a couple of them that were on the highlights, and I want to get onto that as well in a minute. The one where he takes a swipe at it, I don't think it's a penalty. The Middlesbrough player is running back and running across him, but he doesn't put his foot out. His actions don't change. He's just running back. But I think he knows. I think it's clever from the Borough defender. I think he knows what he's doing. He sort of... Well, he's not going to stop and let Langstaff have a free shot go, is he? So he just sort of keeps his stride going, which in turn takes him across Langstaff. And no penalty for me. After that, Aziz and Nedgley come on and Saville come on. And a lot of people were saying Amaku's an impact player. And I love Amaku, but he was terrible yesterday. I still think, I don't know, for the life of me, I can't work out why we keep playing him on the left. When we're doing the 4-5-1, okay. When we're playing the 4-4-2, stick him on the fucking right. Stick him on the right. He's got no left foot, Amaku. As much as I like him, he's got no left foot at all. So stick him on the right where he's got pace to get past people, pace to burn, and whip deliveries in. Again, probably suffering from a little bit of confidence yesterday. I even saw Richard Cooley dig him out yesterday. He said Amaku's been absolutely horrendous in his opening first half, which surprised me. But he was, and I'm sure he knows that. But he wasn't removed at half-time, and Kundal was. But when Saville comes on, I still like Savs in the starting 11. Where are you going to get him in that at the minute? You're not. So it's probably right. But I thought he was brilliant when he come on, Saville, protecting that lead, being a bit of a leader on the pitch. And I thought he did that really well. Talking about leaders on the pitch as well, Kramer yesterday, in the box after the game, people were saying, we've done this and we didn't even have Coburn. And I said, well, hang on a minute. What about Tanganga? And people went, fucking hell. Kramer's been that good in the last 2 games that people have forgotten about, not forgotten about Jav, but we haven't even gone, hang on, well, that's why we conceded. That's why we lost, because we didn't have Tanganga. Kramer's been fantastic, and he was absolutely brilliant yesterday. Close second for me to Billy Mitchell for man of the match, but he's been that good, like I said, that people haven't even noticed that Jav's missing. We ain't really missed Jav. With Ryan Ellie coming at right back, who is a better right back than Kramer, because I was going to say because he is a right back, but he isn't. Brilliant. But yeah, Savs coming on as an impact player really works well. And he had a hand in the goal. He turns them over, gives it to Nesley, who travels, puts it wide to Aziz. And I'm going to say as well, if he can stay fit, for me, he's our most dangerous forward-thinking player. I'd like to see him in a 10 still if we need to play the 10. But as it stands, we've gone back to the 90s and we're making 4-4-2 fucking sexy again, haven't we? Aziz had already had one chance, and he's like a Mako in a way, but all he wants to do is hurt the opposition. But in fairness, especially on that left-hand side, he's got a little bit more, he's got a lot more quality than a Mako, but he just gets bums off seats. He gets the crowd going, and in turn, like I said, put Burrow on the ropes, and he fires one across on his left foot, comes off the defender. Make no mistake, it's a fucking brilliant goal from Nesley, because even after it comes off the defender, he changes his body shape before the ball's come to him. He's immediately thinking, I want to try and get a shot off here. And he takes a touch, and that's a brilliant touch. Instantly, a reaction touch. But he knew what he was doing. He just knocked it up and then just cushioned it, left-footed, into the goal. Watch the highlights back. Langstaff was already celebrating before he'd gone past him. So I don't know if he knew the keeper's position or was he saying, I'm letting that go. But Nesley scores, absolutely brilliant. The Den is absolutely fucking rocking. Honestly, what a day yesterday. And I always go back to, times I go, oh, fuck me, I've got to film a post-match. Or, do you know what, the game is that shit. I'm not even going to bother filming a post-match. I couldn't wait to film this today. As sunburnt as I am, as hungover as I am, I just couldn't wait to get and just talk bollocks about it all over again. And it was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But after that, of course, nothing comes easy at Millwall, does it? Nesley pulls up, does his hamstring, and he won't play again this season. So a real swift cameo from the record signing. But I felt we managed the game out well. We restricted Burrow to shots from distance. Other than, I'll just referring back to what I said earlier about the highlights. I watched the EFL show last night, and I was a little bit worse for wear, shall we say. But what I noticed on that is there's one right at the end where it goes across goal, a shot, and it goes wide. And the ref give a corner. And I said, why does he give a corner? It's actually a really fucking good save from Jensen. One of the few saves he had to make in the game, to be fair. Again, hats off to him because he's a fucking really, really good shot stopper. Yes, he ain't great on crosses, and yes, his distribution isn't great, but I will go back to the Bart Balkowski situation we had for a long time. I don't really care, as long as he can keep the ball out the net, in my opinion. If we're going old school and we're going 4-4-2, like I've seen millions of podcasts about, people talk about Brian Clough, goalkeeper, you save the ball. Defenders, kick it, fucking head it clear. Wingers get crosses in, strikers score a goal. And it's been simplified in a way by Alex Neil, but at the same time, we're looking really, really strong. And he's got previous, took Norwich up in his first season there through the playoffs, as well with Sunderland and a team he managed in Scotland. I think he done really well with them before that. And it's looking really, really good. Like I say, we managed the game out comfortably. Full-time was brilliant. I'm going to give a mention to Billy Mitchell for him. I got myself in trouble yesterday with the full-time reaction, but I haven't. It's fine. He was absolutely sensational, honestly. And I've been saying this for years. I think he's going to be a future captain of Millwall Football Club. And, again, the confidence thing, it goes into it. He had a long time off through injuries. Maybe lost a bit of confidence, come back. Savs and Denor playing really well and he couldn't get in. But he was like a fucking man possessed yesterday. He was like an absolute man possessed. Absolutely outstanding. And that photo there just says it all, mate. Unbelievable performance from Billy. There's about 20 minutes to go and someone turned him and run through the middle. And he went to run, he wasn't going anywhere. And I thought, well, understandably, he's fucked. But somehow, from somewhere, he dug deep. And he was over with the fans at full time, celebrating. It was a sensational performance from him. And for those thinking, it was Terry Urlock-esque, in my opinion. But for those still saying, well, he's a great player, but he's just a grafter and he's a battler. Trust me, he's a fucking good footballer as well. And someone put a comment, I think on one of my posts, saying, who knew that what a player he could be without the restrictions of Gary Rowett and, not playing so much football under Neil Harris. Now we've got a better manager and we've got better players in front of him. Then forward passes are there, like you saw where he teed up Casper Noor in turn for Coburn to score at Sheffield United. It was absolutely brilliant yesterday. Job done, which I didn't think would happen. The ref, again, just constantly stopping the game. which was frustrating. But the frustrations were all released in Kamil Nezhny's goal after, 63 minutes. Shame he's out for the season, but he paid definitely some of that £4.5 million price tag back with his winner. And we move on to Blackburn away next Friday. We need, of course, Hull to do us a favour tomorrow night against Cov. And I'm going to say Bristol City aren't uncatchable. If I'm honest, at the minute, if we carry on playing like we have done in the second half yesterday and in the game against Sheffield United, I can't see us losing another game. Potentially Burnley away on the last day of the season, but like I said, that could be done and dusted for them, and their situation and their mindset could change by that point. But it was absolutely brilliant. Just what a day. You just see it basically. You couldn't sum it up any better. Well done, by the way, to Chat with Chaps. If you haven't checked his YouTube channel out, check it out. He's a fucking good guy. Do you know that? He's a really nice bloke, and he's got a YouTube channel. He talks a lot of sense, more than me. And he's a lot more intelligent than me. Not as funny as me, though, chaps. Don't get above your station. You know what? When me old man passed away, he put something out on his channel. A really nice message on one of his videos. I've never met him. And that went a long way with me. So we've become mates. And yesterday he done a fundraiser outside the ground. I donated. I know it was a very generous donation from Pete O'Mara, by the way, who was absolutely smashed. His full-time video was brilliant. If you haven't seen that, check that out. But fair play to Chaps. He's doing well. If you haven't followed his channel, I'll link it in actually at the end of this one. Really nice bloke. And we become friends. There you go. The Millwall family come together once more. But he done really well yesterday. Really good turnout. I met his mum and dad before the game as well. Nice to meet mummy and daddy Chaps. And yeah, brilliant day all round. We move on to Blackburn away next Friday. I will be going to Blackburn, so there'll probably be an away day. And then rolling on to Monday at Norwich. Can you imagine if we go and get a result at Blackburn and then we roll on to Norwich? And fucking hell, at home, it's the mind boggles, shall we say. But that's a video for sort of Wednesday. We're going to do the podcast this week. And I've got the Lions Lounge, one of our own video with Chris Congo to still go out. My mum wants to go for a curry. I'm absolutely sweating. I'm hungover and I've had enough. But let's raise a glass once more. I haven't stopped drinking, honestly, since the sun's come out and we've got back in form. But there you go. It is what it is. And we go again at Blackburn next Friday. Enjoy the rest of your day. What's left of it. Enjoy your week. We'll all be smiling. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions.